Promulgation of Universal Peace, Abdul Baha Abbas. For if he were simply part of nature and limited to material laws, he could only possess the things which nature embodies. God has conferred upon and added to man a distinctive power, the faculty of intellectual investigation into the secrets of creation. The acquisition of higher knowledge, the greatest virtue, which is scientific enlightenment. This endowment is the most praiseworthy power of man, for through its employment and exercise the betterment of the human race is accomplished. The development of the virtues of mankind is made possible, and the spirit and mysteries of God become manifest. Therefore, I am greatly pleased with my visit to this university. Praise be God, and that this country abounds in such institutions of learning where the knowledge of sciences and arts may be readily acquired. As material and physical sciences are taught here and constantly unfolding in wider vistas of attainment, I am hopeful that spiritual development may also follow and keep pace with these outer advantages. As material knowledge is illuminating those within the walls of this great temple of learning, so also may the light of the Spirit, the inner and divine light of the real philosophy, glorify this institution. The most important principle of divine philosophy is the oneness of the world of humanity, the unity of mankind, the bond conjoining East and West, the tie of love which blends human hearts. Therefore, it is our duty to put forth our greatest efforts and summon all our energies in order that the bonds of unity and accord may be established among mankind. For thousands of years we have bloodshed and strife. It is enough. It is sufficient. Now is the time to associate together in love and harmony. For thousands of years we have tried the sword and warfare. Let mankind for a time at least live in peace. Review history and consider how much savagery, how much bloodshed and battle the world has witnessed. It has been either religious warfare, political warfare, or some other clash of human interest. The world of humanity has never enjoyed the blessing of universal peace. Year by year, the implements of warfare have been increased and perfected. Consider the wars of the past centuries. Only 10, 15, or 20,000 at the most were killed, but now it is possible to kill 100,000 in a single day. In ancient times, warfare was carried on with the sword. Today, it is the smokeless gun. Formerly, battleships were sailing vessels. Today, they are dreadnoughts. Consider the increase and improvement in the weapons of war. God has created us all human, and all countries of the world are parts of the same globe. We are his servants. He is kind and just to all. Why should we be unkind and unjust to each other? He provides for all. Why should we deprive one another? He protects and preserves all. Why should we kill our fellow creatures? If this warfare and strife be for the sake of religion, it is evident that it violates the spirit and basis of all religion. All divine manifestations have proclaimed the oneness of God and the unity of mankind. They have taught that men should love and mutually help each other in order that they might progress. Now, if this conception of religion be true, its essential principle is the oneness of humanity. The fundamental truth of the manifestations is peace. This underlies all religion, all justice. The divine purpose is that men should live in unity, concord, and agreement, and should love one another. Consider the virtues of the human world, and realize the oneness of humanity is the primary foundation of them all. Read the Gospel and the other holy books. You will find that their fundamentals are one and the same. Therefore, unity is the essential truth of religion. When so understood, embraces all virtues of the human world. Praise be to God, the knowledge has been spread, eyes have been opened, and ears have become attentive. Therefore we must endeavor to promulgate and practice the religion of God, which has been founded by all the prophets. And the religion of God is absolute love and unity. And so the dispensationalist doctrine is false. And the priests and the politicians have invented different paths for us. But they've used some of the remnants of the old, haven't they? From the 19th of April, 1912, a talk at Bowery Mission, 227 Bowery, New York, from stenographic notes. Tonight I'm very happy, for I've come here to meet my friends. I consider you my relatives, my companions, and I am your comrade. You must be thankful to God that you are poor, for Jesus Christ has said, "Blessed are the poor." He never said, "Blessed are the rich." He said, too, that the kingdom is for the poor, and that it is easier for a camel to enter a needle's eye than for a rich man to enter God's kingdom. Therefore, you must be thankful to God that although in this world you are indigent, yet the treasures of God are within your reach, and although in the material realm you are poor, yet in the kingdom of God you are precious. Jesus himself was poor. He did not belong to the rich. He passed his time in the desert, traveling among the poor, and lived upon the herbs of the field. He had no place to lay his head, no home. He was exposed in the open to heat, cold, and frost, to inclement weather of all kinds. Yet he chose this rather than riches. If riches were considered a glory, the prophet Moses would have chosen them. Jesus would have been a rich man. When Jesus Christ appeared, it was the poor who first accepted him, not the rich. Therefore you are the disciples of Jesus Christ. You are his comrades. For he outwardly was poor, not rich. Even this earth's happiness does not depend on wealth. You will find many of the wealthy exposed to dangers and troubles and troubled by difficulties, and in their last moments upon the bed of death there remains the regret that they must be separated from that to which their hearts are so attached. They come into this world naked, and they must go from it naked. All they possess they must leave behind and pass away solitary, alone. Often at the time of death their souls are filled with remorse, and worst of all, their hope in the mercy of God is less than ours. Praise be to God, our hope is in the mercy of God, and there is no doubt that the divine compassion is bestowed upon the poor. Jesus Christ said so. Baha'u'llah said so, while Baha'u'llah was in Baghdad, from the city, living 2 years among the poor. They were his comrades. He ate with them, slept with them, and gloried in being one of them. He chose for one of his names the title of the Poor One, and often in his writings refers to himself as Darvish, which in Persian means poor. Comes from a Sanskrit word, but the one on the edge. And of this title he was very proud. He admonished all that we must be the servants of the poor, helpers of the poor, remember the sorrows of the poor, associate with them, for thereby we may inherit the kingdom of heaven. God has not said that there are mansions prepared for us if we pass our time associating with the rich, but he has said that there are many mansions prepared for the servants of the poor, for the poor are very dear to God. The mercies and bounties of God are with them. The rich are mostly negligent, inattentive, steeped in worldliness, depending upon their means, whereas the poor are dependent upon God, and the reliance is upon him, not upon themselves. Therefore, the poor are near the threshold of God at his throne. Well, ease and hardship are, both tests. So we get the test that we're capable of succeeding in. Jesus was a poor man. One night, when he was out in the fields, the rain began to fall. He had no place to go for shelter, so he lifted his eyes towards heaven, saying, O Father, for the birds of the air thou hast created nests, for the sheep a fold, for the animals dens, for the fishes places of refuge. But for me thou hast provided no shelter. There is no place where I may lay my head. My bed consists of the cold ground. My lamps at night are the stars, and my food is the grass of the field. Yet Who upon earth is richer than I? For the greatest blessing thou hast not given to the rich and mighty, but unto me. For thou hast given to me, the poor. To me thou hast granted this blessing. They are mine, therefore I am the richest man on earth. So, my comrades, you are following in the footsteps of Jesus Christ. Your lives are similar to his life. Your attitude is like unto his. You resemble him more than the rich do. Therefore, we will thank God that we have been so blessed with real riches. And in conclusion, I ask you to accept Abdul Baha as your servant. At the end of this meeting, Abdul Baha stood at the Bowery entrance to the mission hall, shaking hands with 400 or 500 men and placing within each palm a piece of silver. And talks Abdul Baha Abbas delivered in Washington, D.C., April 20th, 1912. Talk at Orient Occident Unity Conference, Public Library Hall, Washington, D.C. Notes by Joseph H. Hannon. Tonight I am most happy in presenting myself before an audience such as this. I am an Oriental and have come unto the West to meet the people of the Occident. Praise be to God. Upon the faces of those assembled here, I perceive the light of God. This I consider an evidence of the possibility of uniting the East and the West, of establishing a perfect bond between Persia and America, one of the objects of this conference. For the Persians, there is no government better fitted to contribute to the development of their natural resources and the helping of their national needs in reciprocal alliance than the United States of America. And for the Americans, there could be no better industrial outlet and market than the virgin commercial soil of Persia. The mineral wealth of Persia is still latent and untouched. It is my hope that the great American democracy, well, it never was a democracy, may be instrumental in developing these hidden resources, and that a bond of perfect amity and unity may be established between the American Republic and the government of Persia. May this bond, whether material or spiritual, be well cemented. May the material civilization of America find complete efficacy and establishment in Persia, and may the spiritual civilization of Persia find acceptance and response in America. Some of the creatures of existence can live solitary and alone. A tree, for instance, may live without the assistance and cooperation of other trees. Some animals are isolated and lead a separate existence away from their kind, but this is impossible for man in his life, and being cooperation and association are essential. Although association in a meeting, we find happiness and development, individual and collective. For instance, when there is intercourse and cooperation between two villages, the advancement of each will be assured. Likewise, if intercommunication is established between two cities, both will benefit and progress. And if a reciprocal basis of agreement be reached between two countries, their individual and mutual interests will find great development. Therefore, in the unity of this radiant assemblage, I behold the link between Orient and Occident. Such unity is the means and instrument of cooperation between the various countries of the East and the West. It is evident that the outcomes from this basis of agreement and accord are numberless and unlimited. Surely there will be great harvests of results forthcoming for Persia and America. In Persia, advanced material civilization will be established, and the doors thrown open wide to American commerce. Above and beyond all this, a great love and a fountain of affection shall bind and blend these two remote peoples, for Baha'u'llah has proclaimed to the world the solidarity of nations and the oneness of humanity. Addressing all mankind, he has said, "Ye are all leaves of one tree and the drops of one sea." The world of humanity has been expressed by him as a unit, as one family, It is therefore hoped that the American and Persian nations may be conjoined and united in reciprocal love. May they become one race endowed with the same susceptibilities. May these bonds of amity and accord be firmly established. Baha'u'llah passed 40 years of his life in prison and exile in order that he might upraise the banner of oneness of the world of men. For this he bore all these ordeals and difficulties. He was under the dominion of Abdul Hamid I. Too was in the prison of the Standard of Liberty, and my fetters were removed. They exhibited great kindness and love towards me. I was made free and thereby enabled to come to this country. Were it not for the action of this committee, I should not be with you here tonight. Therefore you must all ask assistance and confirmation in behalf of this committee through which the liberty of Turkey was proclaimed. Briefly, I have traveled this long distance, crossed the Atlantic Ocean to this western continent, in the desire and hope that the strongest bond of unity may be established between America and Persia. I know this to be your wish, and propose also, I am sure, of your cooperation. We shall therefore offer supplication and divine threshold, that a great love may take possession of the hearts of men and unite the nations of the world. We will pray that the ensign of international peace be uplifted, and that the oneness of the world of humanity may be realized and accomplished. All this is made possible in practicable through your efforts. May this American democracy be the first nation to establish the foundation of international agreement. Well, it's a bit late for that. Much further. May it be the first nation to proclaim the universality of mankind. Again, America was not a country the hundreds of years at the very least before such things were claimed. Even Kurash the Great declared among these things. So may it be first to upraise the standard of the most great peace, and through this nation of democracy. Again, America was never a democracy. Its founding fathers never intended it. There may be some people that are trying to push America towards being a democracy, but may these philanthropic intentions and institutions be spread broadcast throughout the world. Truly, this is a great and revered nation. Here liberty has reached its highest degree. The intentions of its people are most praiseworthy. They are indeed worthy of being the first to build the tabernacle of the most great peace and proclaim the oneness of mankind. I will supplicate God for assistance and confirmation in your behalf.